Let me guess, you're trying to figure out where to live in Long Beach? With over 70 neighborhoods in Long Beach, it could feel really overwhelming trying to figure out where to live. That is why in this video, I'm gonna rank all the top places to live in Long Beach in 2025, and also talk about some of the places that are facing some challenges all the way to the places that are the absolute best place to live right now. Whether you're looking for waterfront views, places that have investment potential, or just cool places to live, I've got you covered. By the end of this video, I promise you, you should know exactly where in Long Beach that you should live based off your lifestyle and your budget. Okay, but before we start, I did say this was a ranking, so let's talk about how this works. So it's super simple. Think about it from D to S, kind of like it's grade school, except S is for your super tier, reserved only for the most exceptional. In the D tier, we're gonna talk about some of the neighborhoods that are facing real challenges, but are showing signs of improvement. And then in the C, B, and A tier, we're gonna see different neighborhoods and communities with real desirability that's gonna change depending on what you're into. And all of that is based off the latest 2025 data. Okay, so before you get too crazy in the comments, just remember that best really ultimately depends on what matters most to you. Okay, and my goal is to give you my honest opinions and insights about each of these communities so you can make the most informed decision. Okay, are we good? All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get into it. So let's kick things off west of the 710 on our first neighborhood, which is the West Side. Okay, so I'll be honest with you, this pocket does have some challenges, but at the same time, it does have a lot of potential. Okay, so here's the rundown. The west side of Long Beach is somewhat of an even mix between industrial and residential. And in real time, we are seeing a push and a transition happening in the west side of Long Beach. So as a whole, I would say the west side of Long Beach has the most accessible price points of all of Long Beach, depending on what property type you're looking at. In addition to the single family opportunities, there are also opportunities for multifamily in this pocket that are considerably more accessible than other parts of Long Beach. All that being said, the west side of Long Beach is not without its challenges. Because of its industrial kind of history, you'll also notice if you drive through there that you won't really find much by way of coffee shops or restaurants or things that you would really appreciate if you were someone who is living in that community. So there is a bit of a sacrifice in that regard, but here's my take. If you are someone who is looking for a single family home at the lowest price point accessible, if you can look past some of the industrial nature of it and are willing to hold on for the future and the possibility of the changes that are on the horizon, then I'd say the west side of Long Beach might be something that you should consider. And now moving on to our next property in our D tier, we have downtown Long Beach. Now this is an interesting one because downtown historically has had a lot of prominence, but in years past it struggled. Although now I think seeing signs of what is going to be another resurgence, and this is largely in part because of the money that the mayor and the city of Long Beach has decided to pump into the area. And I'd say this is the area that has the most potential for a bright future if you are willing to buckle up and hold on. To put it simply, downtown in real time right now is in the middle of a $10 billion transformation, and it is changing right before our eyes. People from around here have negative associations with downtown Long Beach just because of how it's suffered in years past, especially in which they were exacerbated during COVID due to the homelessness issues and everything else surrounding that. But what is coming and the infrastructure that is on the horizon is truly impressive. And I believe that it's really going to do a lot to change the face of what downtown has been. If you go to downtown right now, you'll notice that the feel of it is a lot more like a business district, but the plans and development that are in place right now are really looking to turn it into more of a communal and vibrant mixed use type of area that has a more lively feeling to it. So this ultimately means that there are new apartment buildings popping up, new luxury condo buildings that are on the horizon, buildings with better views of the ocean, better public spaces, things that are really going to enhance the quality of life of the people who are going to be living there. And even right now in its current state, you can walk to local restaurants and shops in the downtown area. You have the Aquarium of the Pacific right there. Places like the Pike have created fun areas where you can do some shopping, do some dining, and getting around is pretty easy for commuters as well. You have the Metro Blue Line that connects you to Los Angeles, that makes it pretty simple to get back and forth if you are open to public transit. And on weekends, you're just steps away from the beach and the harbor activities. And even if this pocket of the water is not the same as what we'll talk about in our S tier, it's still something that has a flavor of that kind of optionality. Downtown is definitely still working through some of its challenges. There's still a homelessness problem there that's being worked on. A lot of the businesses had to close down during COVID, and the city is working on getting those businesses back and up and running. But there is definitely a bright future ahead, especially with all of the development coming in that direction. I personally believe that downtown is showing a lot of promise on what can come in the future, especially with the retail and mixed-use spaces. They're gonna serve as a central hub for life and living in the downtown pocket. All right, that's it for our D tier. And now let's get right into our C tier. And to open this up, let's go with North Long Beach. Okay, so North Long Beach is interesting because it has also been a historically underserved pocket, but it is truly on the rise. The big game changer here relating to North Long Beach is something called U-Plan, which is the Uptown Planning, Land Use, and Neighborhood Strategy. This city initiative is bringing real change to North Long Beach by attracting new businesses and rezoning some of the areas, in addition to increasing the investment in some of these neighborhoods. So as a whole, North Long Beach is relatively large. So in some, you'll find homes that are more renovated with more turnover and newer families coming in. And in other pockets, you'll find that the homes have remained in their original condition and haven't seen much change. So the great thing about North Long Beach is that housing as a whole still remains somewhat accessible with a median price range around $700 to $750. So this makes perfect sense for a family who wants a single family home, who might be priced out of another nicer neighborhood, but still has an opportunity to get plugged in somewhere that is truly on the rise. Okay, so Rose Park. This neighborhood is getting a lot of attention from first-time home buyers and families who are looking for homes with character and a lot of history. So what makes Rose Park stand out? Well, it's a collection of craftsman historic homes from the early 1900s. And yes, while these homes are typically a bit older, they have what the new construction homes can't compete with, and that's the gorgeous woodwork, the built-in cabinets, and the classic front porches that really only exist in this pocket. And on top of that, I think one of the best parts about being in the Rose Park district is its proximity to Retro Row, which is this cool strip of restaurants and bookstores and shops that have this kind of quirky, creative vibe to it. And I will say, while Rose Park is definitely a cool and vibey little pocket of Long Beach, there are still some elements that are somewhat transitioning. And when you walk around, naturally, you'll see some beautifully restored craftsman homes, and then others that have been maybe a little neglected and need some TLC. Definitely a strong sense of community in Rose Park, kind of similar to what you'll see in Cal Heights, but at a more accessible price point. For the buyers who appreciate an older architecture and don't mind putting in some work, Rose Park is definitely an area you should consider. And to round out our C tier, this list wouldn't be complete without Alamitos Beach, a nice little pocket of Long Beach that connects our coast to downtown. So what's cool about Alamitos Beach, which we've mentioned in one of our past videos, is that it's super walkable. It's a way to stay close enough to the mix of the shore without paying shore prices, and largely the kind of property that you'll see in this pocket are high-rise buildings, condos, apartments, that kind of thing. I'd say what really gives Alamitos Beach its edge is probably its energy. It's definitely a younger, kind of more upbeat kind of feeling around there. Alamitos Beach is definitely a very communal pocket of Long Beach. And it goes without saying, I am keeping things high level. These are just kind of big picture ideas of the different neighborhoods that we're talking about, but hopefully this is giving you a better sense of how these different neighborhoods stack up against one another and what makes them different and unique. And if you're looking for more in-depth breakdowns of these different areas, definitely subscribe to our channel where we release weekly videos breaking down the different elements of lifestyle and real estate in Long Beach and the surrounding areas. Okay, so now we are finally moving on to our B tier neighborhoods, and we're gonna start things off with Wrigley. This is an area that has really transformed over the years due to its active residents and some really smart improvements in the surrounding areas. And the best part about it is you really don't even have to break your bank all that much. Now, according to the most recent data as of February 2025, a single family entry home in the Wrigley area will cost you in the $820 range, which is a 2.6 increase from the previous year. I'd say one of the hallmark characteristics of Wrigley are homes that have a clear sense of character in addition to a very tangible sense of community pride. You'll find many well-preserved vintage homes here, some of which that have that classic California bungalow vibe. And because of the combination of the somewhat accessible price point and the classic vintage homes, you'll also find that there is a healthy amount of competition that has come into the Wrigley area as well. So locationally, Wrigley is just south of the 405 and east of the 710. And the way it's situated makes it so it has very easy and accessible freeway access to get to downtown and different parts of Los Angeles, which is one of the perks. What's really impressive about Wrigley is how the community has come together over the years. It's the kind of neighborhood where the neighbors actually know each other. And I think because of that they've allowed to use that synergy to really help improve the community that they're a part of. And that's really translated over the course of the last couple of years. So again, Wrigley, another great pocket that has an accessible price point, but shows a lot of promise because of its homes with character and a great community. Also, here is a fun fact. Did you know that Wrigley was actually named after Wrigley, the chewing gum guy? Yes, William Wrigley Jr. helped develop the area in the 1920s, and that is a fun fact that you should know. And if anyone asks, I told you. Next up in our B tier, we have Cal Heights, which is a historically designated district. So depending on who you ask, some people who are looking at it from a historical lens will say that Cal Heights is actually part of Bixby Knolls. Technically speaking, let's just say that it's not for all intents and purposes, because in today's current age, it is its own distinct neighborhood. The reason why people use that as a shorthand is because Cal Heights was developed by the same person that developed Bixby Knolls, which is Jotham Bixby. If you walk through Cal Heights, you will see a lot of beautiful Spanish style homes, a lot of beautiful Tudor homes, just a really quaint and nice, lovely pocket of Long Beach. I can use more adjectives if I need to, but I really do like Cal Heights. A lot of these homes have the details that a lot of sophisticated buyers appreciate. Some beautiful hardwood floors, the nice arched doorways. Looking at the numbers, the median home value in Cal Heights is just shy of $1 million, like around the $950 range. This is as of February 2025. But you are seeing consistent and steady appreciation in the Cal Heights area, in addition to all of Long Beach, honestly. Cal Heights also has a neighborhood association, which helps to bring the community together and really uphold the historic preservation of the homes there. Cal Heights also gets to really benefit from the walkability of Atlantic Avenue, which is where all the shops and the restaurants and all that good stuff are. Okay, let's round out our B tier with one of my favorite neighborhoods, quite honestly, and that is Bixby Knolls, 90807. Bixby Knolls has so many micro neighborhoods within it, which we'll talk about in a later video. But we have Bixby proper, we have Bixby Highlands, we have Bixby North, we have Bixby Terrace. Each little pocket kind of offers a slightly different flavor, but to be honest, all of them are genuinely great. And I'd say Bixby Knolls, to me, is one of the pinnacles of a family-oriented neighborhood. Very centrally located. You know, you're on part of the upper half of Long Beach. What's great about it is that it allows you to stay super accessible to LA while also staying accessible to the water. Now, when we look at the numbers for Bixby Knolls, very comparable to Cal Heights, and the median home price as of 2025, February 2025, was about $975,000 or so. And that's gonna range depending on bedroom count and which pocket of Bixby that we're looking at. It's very community oriented. Another way that you see the communal element of Bixby Knolls show up is through something called First Fridays that happens right along Atlantic Avenue, where the community comes together to play live music, to open up the restaurants, to just bring people outside and commune every first Friday of the month. Architecturally speaking, Bixby Knolls definitely has range, and that's gonna vary depending on which pocket that we're looking at, but you'll see some Spanish, you'll see some ranch homes, you'll see some traditional homes, and some of the homes have some really sizable lots as well, which is a nice feature of this area. From the community art projects to the business partnerships, Bixby Knolls feels like it's a small town just tucked into the heart of a big city, and it's just a great place to live. If you haven't considered it, I definitely give it my stamp of approval. So if you like everything I just described, but you might have a little bit more money to spend, I would definitely hold on because there are some good options that are coming your way in our A tier. So we're here, so let's just get the A tier started off. I know that's what you were waiting for, and guess what? You have made it long enough into the video to see what the best, arguably the best neighborhoods in Long Beach are. And to get things started, let's start off with Los Altos. So I know there's been a theme of very family-friendly neighborhoods, but I have to say Los Altos is definitely a very family-friendly neighborhood with great layouts, homes that have a slightly larger size. So according to the data, as of February 2025, a median priced home in Los Altos is going to cost you about $1.2 million. So yes, we are, as you can see, slowly scaling up in price, but you're definitely getting your money's worth here. The average price per square foot for Los Altos is in like the $750 range, which definitely puts it on the higher end of property values in the Long Beach, the general Long Beach area. I'd say one of the best aspects of living in the Los Altos pocket, especially for a family, is that you have everything right around you at your fingertips. Between the Los Altos Shopping Center, you have your shopping and your food and all your necessities right a stone's throw away. You have a lot of local parks not too far as well. In addition to Cal State Long Beach, which is great for sporting events, one of the lifebloods of the city not too far away. And I think what really seals the deal for a lot of folks is that Los Altos has some of the best schools in Long Beach. And this is, of course, especially important for folks who are considering or navigating children who are getting ready to go to school. And this is why a lot of folks do prioritize this area when they come getting ready to house hunt, because they know that living in Los Altos also gets you access to some of the premier schools and education in the Long Beach area. Okay, so we are cooking right now, and now we're moving on to another neighborhood in our A tier, which is Belmont Heights, which I know a lot of you were waiting for. If you had to capture or synthesize this neighborhood, it would be all about historic architecture, walkable streets, and community. Okay, so as you walk through Belmont Heights, you're definitely going to notice a lot of these beautiful kind of craftsman Spanish homes from the 1920s, 1930s. And this is one of the common themes that you'll see in this pocket is that a lot of the homes have been very specifically maintained. And this is what allows this neighborhood to maintain its very appealing historic nature. And okay, just a pro tip for anyone who is in the Belmont Heights area or who is going through there, make sure you stop by Mom Pa's Grocery. You heard it here first. They have the best breakfast burritos in all of Long Beach. You can fight me on it. Before you say anything, try it for yourself. If you disagree, tell me where you think the best breakfast burrito is, and I will have to go check it out for myself. Belmont Heights does not have what's known to be the best schools in the city. It does have some decently rated schools that give you kind of, when you think about all of it in conjunction, a combination of all the things that someone would want to live in a neighborhood. Beautiful homes, great location, pretty good schools. It's a nice little mix of everything. They're rounding that out, but getting us ready for what you've all been waiting for, which is our S tier. And to get us started with our top of the top neighborhoods, first one on the list is actually a neighbor of Belmont Heights, and that is, you guessed it, Belmont Shore. It's an iconic beach community that really captures what it means to not only live in Long Beach, but to really adapt to the California lifestyle. So according to the March 2025 data, the median home value was about 1.3. And again, you will see the numbers kind of range on each side of that depending on the style of home, the size of the home. But what you can expect in this area for the most part is you're getting close proximity to the water. You have beautiful Spanish homes and a little bit of mix of others. Smaller lots, but beautiful homes right exactly where you want to be. You also have direct access to 2nd Street, which means that you are kind of at the center of the mix. All the restaurants, all the bars, all the entertainment, everything right here at your fingertips, which means it's super walkable. While the lots here tend to be a little smaller compared to some of the lot sizes in our other S tier community, people come here because they truly value living close to the water and being a part of that kind of lifestyle, which is distinctly different than what it is to live on the other side of Long Beach, even though they're both different forms of luxury. And here's the other thing as well. If you live in this pocket, cars can sometimes be optional. Some folks will not move their car for quite some time because they know they don't need it for their day-to-day, especially if you're working from home. Everything that you need is right here, right from a walking distance. Between the beach, between the restaurants, the cafes, everything is easily accessible on foot. Next up on our S tier, we have Naples Island. If you haven't already, check out our previous video that we made going super deep on what it means to live on the island. But it goes without saying that there's no S tier in Long Beach without Naples. What you get from the community, what you get from the schools, what you get from its exclusivity, all of these things are part of what makes Naples truly distinct relative to the rest of Long Beach. So as of February 2025 data, median home prices were hovering around $2.2 million. It kind of gives you a general idea of the price point in the Naples area. Now, of course, that's gonna vary drastically depending on if you're looking at a home on the canal, if you're looking at a home on the inner island, on the main island. It's all gonna vary depending on the specifics of what you're looking for, but that's all secondary to what makes Naples particularly special, which is the community and what comes across through that community. So in Naples, and we've talked about this before, but we have the Christmas boat parade, we have the July 3rd firework event, we have the concerts on the dog park, we have the pancake breakfast. These are all things that really bring this community together and really upholds its exclusivity. The kids who grew up here grew up driving Duffy boats, riding around golf carts the island, diving into the canals. They really grew up alongside each other, going to the Naples Elementary School, really fostering a sense of community. And now to complete our S tier, just when you thought it couldn't get better, we have Virginia Country Club and the surrounding Los Cerritos community. Now, in my opinion, this is one of my personal favorite neighborhoods in all of Long Beach. I love how it is situated in a way where it's accessible to LA and to all of Long Beach, while still maintaining the epitome of luxury. When you look at Virginia Country Club, for example, it is sectioned off in what is a security guarded, gated community. And the surrounding Los Cerritos, also very exclusive, not behind a gate, but beautiful, large lot, historic homes that are truly one of a kind. A lot of these homes in the Rancho Los Cerritos and Virginia Country Club area are ranging from anywhere between 2,500 to 7,500 square feet of home. And on top of that, have these huge, generously sized lots. This is a little known fact, but the Virginia Country Club area, in addition to its beautiful mansion-like homes, also have some condo complexes between the Crown Point and Country Club villas. It gives buyers a different alternative that still want to be at the heart of the Virginia Country Club. I really don't feel like I could do it enough justice in describing it, but the homes in this community are just so beautiful. They're grand. They have a genuine character around each of them. You could tell there's nothing replicated about any of these homes. Every one of them has their own personality. So the kind of luxury that you'll feel in a Virginia Country Club or Los Cerritos is gonna be different than the kind of luxury that you'll feel in a Naples or Belmont Shore, but it's nice that you are seeing here that there are two very distinct flavors of S-tier luxury that comes with being a part of a grander community like Long Beach. The residents here find their enjoyment in taking advantage of the golf course, of course, and the other private spaces that they get to benefit from that are a little bit more off the beaten path. So what do you think? If you honestly made it through the end of this video, good on you. And that also tells me you were really trying to learn something new about Long Beach and what it has to offer. And hopefully, if you are someone who's considering moving to the Long Beach area, I'd love to talk to you so we can talk through some of your goals and figure out how we can help you plan for whatever neighborhood you are thinking about looking in. Obviously, there's so much more detail to go into that we could talk about that can't be covered in a video, but if you are someone who's considering it, make sure you send us an email at tedrosteam@gmail.com or text us or call at 562-554-7534 so we can walk through what the best options are for you and what neighborhood could make sense. But if you want to dive deeper into some of the neighborhoods that we talked about today, of course, this was a great start, but check out some of the past videos to go even more into the details so you can get a better sense. And of course, if there's anything we can do, in the meantime, we'll look forward to talking to you soon. And I will definitely plan on seeing you in the next video. See you next time.